Is main constantly broken or your PR throughput is increasing significantly? Well, a merge queue might be the right solution for you. In this video, I'm going to explain what a merge queue is and the problem it solves. And in the next one, I'll walk you through what the graphite merge queue does specifically. Organizations that reach a certain size and have a high PR throughput run into the issue where a PR that passes CI can break main when merged. And this is due to more commits being merged into main since CI was tested on the PR. So at some point, a high PR throughput removes the guarantee that PRs that pass CI can safely merge. And the effect of this is that breaking main requires additional engineering effort to emergency check in either a forward fix or invert the PR. So this is the exact type of problem that a merge queue solves. A merge queue lets fast-moving teams ship code quickly without breaking main. A merge queue is essentially an additional mechanism that's introduced that manages the merging and ordering of pull requests. And its main goal is to ensure that two PRs that both pass CI individually won't fail CI after being merged together. So here we have an example in which main breaks. We have PR A and PR B. Both are passing CI. Let's assume for the sake of example that PR A introduces a new parameter for an API. And let's assume PRB is unaware of the parameter change in PRA, so it's just using the original API that exists on this version of main. Since both A and B are passing CI, we can merge both. So we directly merge A onto main, and we see that main is still succeeding, denoted by a green CI run here. The issue occurs when we directly merge B. Because B was never tested on A's changes, now we have main breaking, because B is unaware of that new parameter requirement introduced in A. And one thing that's very common that organizations do is add a check to ensure all PRs are based on the latest, but this will rerun CI on every new push. So in the case there are multiple PRs that are being merged at the same time, for example, PR A and B, you're essentially racing to get your change in before someone else, because if PR A merges before mine, I'm going to need to rebase off the latest version of main and push that to my PR. So this stops working when the merge frequency into main increases to the point where the time in between merges is shorter than the time it takes to run CI. So the merge queue abstracts this away from developers. It stops them from needing to rebase off the latest multiple times in the case that PRs are getting merged into main. Here we have the same example, PR A and B, in which now we've added a merge queue, and you'll see now that main stays green. So we have PR A and PR B. And when they're both passing CI and we're ready to merge, instead of merging it directly onto main, they'll get enqueued into the merge queue. Here you can see the merge queue will order each PR sequentially. So A is at the top of the queue and B is next on the queue. And then it will rebase each PR on the version of main that it's going to merge into. So for A's case, it's the same as the CI that was run on the PR. But since B is later in the merge queue than A, it will rebase PRB onto A plus main. Next, the merge queue will rerun CI for these PRs. We can assume for the sake of example that we'll rerun it once per PR, but there's many optimizations that we use of the graphite merge queue, which I'll cover in the next video. So we see here that A on main passes CI, so we're able to merge A onto main. We then run CI on B, and you can see that it fails, as expected, because we've introduced the parameter change in A. In this case, we do not merge B onto main. B is evicted from the merge queue, and the PR author is notified that CI was failing for their PR, and they're going to need to make the fixes. So here you can see that main stays green, allows developers who create changes off of main are working off of a stable base. And then we're also making sure from the developer standpoint that they're not needing to continually rebase and push to make sure that they're on the latest version of main. So let's put this into practice. I have an example web app here. It's a contacts directory web app. For the sake of example, let's assume that this is your org repo. We then have two PRs that we want to merge into this repo. One adds a new parameter, very similar to PRA, to the get user profile API, as you can see here. And then the next one adds a new view called the last viewed profile, and it uses the get user profile API. Because PRA in this case is not checked in, it is using the old version of get user profile. So if I scroll down here, you'll see that there's no include metadata parameter. Both PRs are passing CI individually, so let's go ahead and merge them and see what happens. So I can go ahead and squash and merge this one, and then I'll go ahead and merge this one. So both PRs were able to merge successfully. That's great, but let's go ahead and pull our changes locally, and I think that's where you're going to start to see that main is completely broken. So they've been merged, and now when I run npm run build, you'll see that main is broken. So obviously PRB is unaware of that new metadata property, so our build fails. This would require either reverting PRB or forward fixing it ourselves. So I'm going to go ahead and revert both these PRs. I'm going to add the graphite merge queue, and we're going to see how it handles this situation. So now we have the same two PRs. They're both passing CI, and then we have the graphite merge queue installed. So instead of directly merging, it's going to add them to the graphite merge queue. I'm going to click add to queue for both of them, and then we're going to go ahead and see what it looks like. We can go ahead and view the merge queue status by clicking here, and now we have the two PRs that are queued into the merge queue. And then it's going to do what we talked about before. It's going to rebase PRB onto PRA, and it's going to run CI for both of them. And you'll see here that our include metadata parameter change was able to get merged into main, and that is reflected on the PR as well. Looks like PRB finished running. When we go here, we see that it failed to merge. I can very easily go to that PR, and then you'll see that CI essentially failed, and the code author is now notified and needs to make that fix. And there you have it. The merge queue allows main to stay green by adding an additional mechanism that ensures ordering and rebasing on the version of main that each PR is going to get merged into. There's plenty of optimizations that you can do, such as batching and speculating, that I'll cover in the next video that Graphite Merge Queue has specifically. I hope this is helpful in understanding what a merge queue is and the problem it solves, and maybe this helped answer some questions on whether your organization needs one. Thanks.